Welcome, friends, haters, gentle lovers, and feeders. Join me as we experience together the most bafflingly interesting person on the internet. In today's episode, Amberlynn Reed lives in Delululand. Hello, my friends. Amberlynn uploaded her Thursday Let's Talk video, and she said it's episode 1. We'll see how long that actually lasts. It's really just her normal video, right? That's what she usually does, is just sits in front of the camera and talks. So I think she's sort of saying that her Monday video, the vlog, will be where she does like activities and stuff, which bingo, I guess. I'm not sure what she's going to consider vlog worthy. Lego, she's going to show us her awesome Legos, so that'll be cool. Also, she didn't even capitalize her I. Like, she really didn't give a single shit anymore. So this says, I shouldn't admit this, Zachary Michael, and deleting comments. What do you want to bet this is probably a Q&A or something? Because I'm guessing people are going to ask about these things. So I'm sure it will be fascinating and riveting and very intellectual. If you'd like to like and subscribe, that would literally be hectic. I'm not going to lie.
Hey guys, welcome to a new video. So this series is called Let's Talk. I have done this before years ago. It's definitely just a series where I can communicate and correspond with you guys. So unfortunately, my channel has thrived, but also died on a lot of different speculation, and I want to change that. I want to use my voice in situations where I normally wouldn't, and I want to continue using my voice in situations where I already have. This is just a place for you guys to get to know me more, maybe in areas that you never would have.
How is this any different than anything she's already done forever? She has not shied away from talking about anything her entire YouTube career. This is just victim mentality, is all it is. This is her just acting like, I am so bullied, I'm gonna speak up. This is the same shit you always do.
A place for me to be accountable, to clarify and deny, and just an overall correspondence between you and me every single week. So the reason I want to do this is because there's always questions, rumors, speculation, just things that people are, for the lack of a better word, obsessively asking me about. And it kind of goes in cycles where it's like there's like 5 huge things that people are talking about ad nauseum. And I think this is a good opportunity.
I think it's funny that she would mention a cycle because her entire life, everything about her is a cycle. She's got her mental health cycle, her girlfriend cycle, her weight loss cycle, and they just rotate over and over and over again. And they have for 12 years now.
Maybe I can answer those 5 things or whatever it may be. But regardless, I feel like my channel is very parasocial, let's be real. And there's always some sort of speculation or always some sort of topic that people are like, Amberlynn, why won't you talk about this? So this is going to give me the opportunity to do so if you guys bring it up, of course. So I have structured the series into a special format and I'm really, really excited. So the first section is always going to start with sweet and sour. So sweet and sour is just
She's trying to make it like interesting and cutesy and fun, which props for at least making some effort to put some kind of entertainment in her video. But this is something that, just like everything else she's ever done, she's going to quit immediately. It's just enough work that she just won't do it, right? If there are 2 or 3 extra steps in doing something, she's just not going to do it. So enjoy at least the bare minimum amount of entertainment while it lasts.
It's going to be a random comment generator from the Let's Talk prior. So obviously, since this is episode 1, we're having to skip that part. But I came up with sweet and sour because you never know what kind of comment is going to pop up. Can it be a sweet comment or can it be a sour comment? Using a random comment generator is...
So if the actual numbers are correct, right? If she's really actually doing random, she should get a sour comment like 90% of the time, because almost her entire comment section is just negativity, right? It's just people shitting on her and telling her how stupid she is, and a lot of it is just giving her advice, which she would also consider sour, right? If you try to tell her she's doing something wrong or give her an idea of how to do something better, that's sour. So I will be interested to see. I'm guessing she's going to have a lot of sweet comments just magically, because actual probability doesn't work in Amberville. She needs to pad that a little bit.
is going to give me a wide variety of comments instead of just like going based off of like the top ones where I pick and choose, etc., etc. So this next section I am calling Sippin' Community. I know, I'm very clever. Thank you.
At least she can acknowledge that was dumb.
So this is where I read from the community tab that I will be posting every single Monday. So it gets time for the questions and anything that you guys need me to speak about for them all to just fall under that community tab. And then after Sippin' Community, we're going to be doing the Linterview. Yes, I know, more cleverness from your girl. So
all right, I'm bored, but that community, it reminded me of something. Have you ever read a book series called The Iron Druid Chronicles? Oh man, it's so good. It is so good. It's like, it's present day, right? It's fantasy, but in this book series, all of the like mythological creatures and basically everything, every sort of legend or myth or whatever is real. Like all the religions are real, all of the, vampires, werewolves, every pantheon, all of it's real, but it's all sort of hidden. And the main character is a druid, and he sort of is in that world. And so he can kind of see what we can't see a lot of times because everything's kind of hidden in plain sight, sort of thing. And the reason it reminded me of that is because as a druid, he is constantly brewing different kinds of teas. And he had one called Immortality. And it was just like it sounds. He would drink it, and he was like 2,000 years old, 3,000 years old. So yeah, it was just, when I saw that, it reminded me of that. So if you get a chance, now I listened on Audible because like I've said, I used to manage an apartment complex. And so while I would paint and while I would just be working on stuff around the apartment complex, I would listen to books. And I think you would enjoy it if you like fantasy stuff.
the interview is where you guys are actually interviewing me with your voice. Yes. So I told everyone over on my Instagram, send me a microphone emoji so I can accept your request. And that gives you the opportunity to send me a voice memo asking any question you want.
Is she sure she wants to do that? Because there's no telling what she's going to get. And that right there, what she just did, is why this series is going to die immediately. As soon as she starts getting voice messages, it's done.
So I have not listened to any of them. It is going to literally be live, real reaction. I am very nervous. So if you guys want to go to my Instagram for next week, literally go to my Instagram at hectic.amby. Send me a microphone. I'm going to send you a smiley face emoji back, and then you can send me a voice memo because Instagram has it to where you can only send me a voice memo if I accept your first message request. So anyways.
So, I mean, I guess that's kind of a way to filter them a little bit as long as she knows who you are ahead of time. But if you're some new random person wanting to send her a really nasty message, she won't know that, she will accept your message. So I'm kind of excited to see where this goes because this could get interesting.
After the Linterview, the next section is called Tea or Tale. So what this is going to be is I am going to clarify rumors that I have heard through the grapevine. And I'm going to tell you, yeah, that's real. Or no, that's actually not true.
What do you want to bet? Anything that makes her look bad, that she can't blame on BPD or something, is always going to be fiction.
And then the last section is going to be bad choices. And I just remembered I forgot to actually bring the cards over here, so I need to go get those. I will be right back. Okay, I'm back. So bad choices is just a bunch of...
She could have just... Whatever. She could have just cut that out. She could have just cut and just had them. Why did... Whatever.
Really hecticana questions. So...
I don't remember that. I don't remember asking those questions, but they must be good ones.
I'm going to be choosing 5 of those and answering them. So I know this introduction was super long. We will not be doing that in the future videos. I just kind of wanted to talk about what the series is about. So let's get into it. Okay, sadly, we are skipping over sweet and sour because I can't do it. And we're going to go straight to Sippin' Community. Have you considered that your refusal to do inpatient treatment could be linked to a drug addict's refusal to do rehab? No, because I actually think doing inpatient would be fun. I know a lot of people are going to be like, fun, that's really the adjective you're going to use for that. The only reason why I choose not to do inpatient is because it is extremely expensive and I have a job. Not only do I have a job I have to do to keep the roof over my head, the electricity running.
Does she think nobody else that needs inpatient treatment has a job? Yeah, that's just the way things go. She really said, I think that would be fun. I think inpatient would be a hoot and berry. And I have a job. Yeah. It's easy for her to say that because she knows she's never going to go to inpatient. And so she can just make that up, right? I think it'd be fun, you guys. She doesn't want to change, right? She doesn't want to actually stop eating the things that she likes to eat. I think that's all it boils down to. As far as her weight goes, if she thinks something will actually work and make her stop eating the things that she likes, she's not going to do it. Her number one priority is being able to eat what she wants. That's it. Everything else comes second.
And the food in my fur baby's stomach, but I have fur babies that need to be taken care of. I know the I's could be dot and the T's could be crossed. Like, my mom could probably watch my fur babies, but like, it's the job thing for me. If I was to be able to go into inpatient and be able to vlog my whole experience and upload, still make an income so I can still pay my bills, then I would do it. Why is it okay for you to make
I don't think she would. Not even a little bit. Nope. In fact, I think it would be so interesting if there was a place that could tell her, yeah, you can come vlog it and do all that stuff, and just see what excuse she would have for not going. Because you know she would have an excuse. Because there's just no way. She's not going to do it. She wants them yum-yums.
and upload, still make an income so I can still pay my bills, then I would do it. Why is it okay for you to make assumptions about ZM's mental health, but when your audience does it, it's mental health shaming? So I've
Interesting she chose that. You know, in her last members only live, she ranted and raved about Zachary Michael and really just said, if you like Zachary Michael, then you're in the wrong place. I don't want you here, kind of thing. Not in so many words necessarily, but basically. So yeah, just happened to find that comment to talk about, because I think that's all she's thinking about right now is Zachary Michael and just that whole situation type deal.
I've never really made an assumption about his mental health. Months and months ago when I said, whoa, what a quinky dink. Zachary Michael's mental health gets bad when I take a break from YouTube. I think that was my way of just being like, okay, if you can dish it, I expect you're going to be able to take it. There have been times where he has mocked me about my mental health or a heartbreak, a relationship, just some way that I was feeling. I have felt mocked. I have felt hurt.
You have felt mocked. That's her way of admitting that Zachary Michael has never actually mocked her for those things. Now, here's the thing. I used to watch Zachary Michael all the time back when I first kind of got into gorlworld, and I sort of fell off, you know, a year or two ago. And I just, not that I have anything against them. In fact, I really like Zachary Michael, but they just kind of fell off my radar. So other than when stuff like this happens, you know, I'll kind of keep up with it a little bit, but so I can't say definitively that they have never mocked Amber's mental health. But based on what I generally hear in the community and from other reaction channels, most of what's happening is people mocking her for what seems like self-diagnosis, and sort of, it's not mocking her for having a personality disorder or mental health issues. It's mocking her for the way she handles it. So by her saying, I felt mocked, tells me that even she knows that Zachary Michael never actually mocked her for having mental illnesses or, you know, personality disorders or whatever. But that way she can say, it doesn't matter what they said, I felt mocked. That's a good weasel word there, you know?
I'm allowed to feel that way. And in my brain, I was like, okay, he's been doing this for years.
You could say that about anything, right? Somebody could say banana peel, and you could say, I feel mocked. So, and then just go on a tirade and just make fun of them mercilessly. And when somebody calls you out on it, say, well, they said banana peel and I felt mocked. And I'm allowed to feel that way. Like, no, words have meanings for a reason.
And in my brain, I was like, okay, he's been doing this for years. Now it's my turn.
Again, you are not the same. She wants to put them both on the same level, but that is not how it works, right? You have a reputation of being a narcissist, a quitter, a liar, and a just all-around shithead. Zachary Michael generally has a reputation of being the person that makes fun of the liar, quitter, shithead, etc. That's the difference, right? And unfortunately, you don't do anything to help that. So whether you think it's fair or not, like, that's just the way things are. And really, it's nobody else's fault but your own. You've had so many opportunities to change your behavior and actually take accountability for things, and you just dig your heels in and refuse to do anything positive.
Have you traveled the world since breaking up with Beck? No, but I have traveled. I have went to Oklahoma. I've went to Wisconsin. I've went to Tennessee. I've went to Michigan.
I've gone. And yeah, I guess. I don't think moving to a place really counts as traveling.
And I forgot to say, I've been to Illinois since then. Chicago, hello, Billie Eilish concert. And I've done things that I wouldn't have. So based on your physical health.
What she's trying to say is that because of Beck, she wasn't able to go do stuff, right? She's kind of implying that because Beck was around, I wasn't able to travel and do all these things. But we saw how big she was back then. In fact, let's take a look, shall we? The moment I wake up, before I put on my makeup. So yeah, check this out. This is a video by the Fupa Tales, by the way. So this is why she wasn't able to travel.
And I feel rather ashamed from swelling so much as of lately. I actually can't fit in the car right now. I can't.
Yeah, so did Beck feed you all that to make you not be able to fit in the car? I don't think so. I don't think that's Beck's fault, bro.
In your track record for change, what do you estimate your life expectancy to be, and what will you do with that time? So this is kind of like which concert, and I've done things that I wouldn't have. So based on your physical health and your track record for change, what do you estimate your life expectancy to be, and what will you do with that time? So this is kind of like gruesome, but based on how I feel and the things that I go through, probably somewhere in my 50s, and I feel like early 50s. I don't know why.
And she doesn't care, right? She is just like, yeah, I'm probably just going to die in my early 50s. That's why she's never going to do inpatient. That's why she's never going to actually change her diet. That's why she's never going to do anything. She doesn't care. She is totally fine with that. And I could kind of understand if she was like in her early 20s or something like that, because at that age, you feel invincible and you feel like 50 is so far away. But man, it sneaks up on you. Like, I went to bed yesterday and I was 20 years old, and I woke up today and I'm going to be 42 in a month or two. Like, it just sucks, man. It sucks how fast it goes. You don't realize it until it's already flown by. So she can say that with complete nonchalance. Just, yeah, I'll just early 50s, whatever, it's fine. That's going to get here before you know it. And considering her diet and level of exercise, I think she'd be lucky to get to early 50s, but maybe. I will say she's been awfully lucky so far, considering she doesn't have like diabetes and all kinds of other like heart issues and stuff like that that we know of. So maybe she will last longer than we expect.
That's when my grandma died. Actually, it was when she was 51. But like the number 53 keeps popping in my head, and slightly 54. That's a very gruesome question. And what will I do with that time? It depends. Like, am I trying to better myself?
Eat and lie and gaslight and make excuses and darvo.
Whether that be physically, emotionally, mentally, etc., which is where I'm at right now, or am I just going to just flop like a fish and not care about anything? I want to say it's this over here. So by doing this over here, that means I might see my 60s. I think regardless of which one I choose.
And this is her mentality, right? Is she just sort of says, future me will deal with that. And that's been her mentality for everything, right? Anything that she needs to actually do that requires any kind of work, you know what? Future me will handle that. I'm not going to worry about it. Dieting, me in the future, I'm sure by then, by the time I actually am going to start the diet, future me will handle it. They'll be definitely more mature than I am now. I'm going to be really ready for it tomorrow or next year. She says it like it's some other person going to be doing it. Hopefully by then, I'll be ready for it. Like, it's you. You're the one that needs to be ready for it. You have to make yourself ready for it.
I'll never see my 70s, and that's kind of a sad reality. How does it feel knowing you've been stuck in a time loop for the last decade, when your watchers have graduated college with masters, gotten married, etc.? The world is evolving around you, yet you haven't changed a thing. So first of all, to those who...
Okay, she's going to say, I have so changed so many things. She's going to gaslight herself right now, I have a feeling.
Have graduated college with masters. Hell yeah. Props to ya. But I do want to say...
And also, real quick, before she says something real stupid, she doesn't care. She makes so much money. She can be all condescending and give props and shit like that. Because to her, she's like, yeah, I'm already living the dream. So when you say other people have accomplished so much, why does she care? She doesn't have to do any of that stuff. And she makes bank. So she can be smug. She can be happy just doing this. Because she makes so much money, she doesn't need to accomplish anything. Most of us would not be satisfied with that, right? Most of us want to accomplish stuff, but she doesn't care. I mean, she gets to eat the food that she wants. She gets to sit and doom scroll and watch TV and just bullshit and do Legos and stuff like that. So why change that?
Everyone's timeline is completely different. Some people get married when they're 18. Some people get married when they're freaking 62. You know, more people than you think have very routine, boring, everyday lives. Like they get up, they shower, they have their breakfast, they head to work, they come home, they have dinner, they relax, and that's that. Like a lot of people do have that life. And I think that we just need to be grateful to be alive regardless.
Yeah, I mean, most people have that life, right? I think that is why it's sort of considered the typical life. I don't think the person was saying you should be doing exciting things every day. They were just saying you haven't accomplished anything. Not that you're not experiencing anything necessarily. It's just you haven't accomplished anything. You have sat and watched the world pass you by for 12 years. And it makes sense the way they said it. The world is evolving and revolving around you. And she has not changed a bit. It's not about your routine. It's the fact that you're just okay doing nothing. You're okay just not accomplishing anything. That's the sad part.
Just because someone is married versus someone who isn't, that doesn't make one of them better than the other versus someone graduated with masters versus someone who didn't. It doesn't make one of them better than the other.
And of course, she takes it so literally and is going into the specifics. Like, just because I'm not married with a master's doesn't mean I'm any less than them. Like, no, they're just saying in general, you haven't accomplished anything. You haven't done anything with your life. If the you from 10 years ago looked at you right now, they would be like, I haven't done jack shit. And they'd probably be okay with it. And that's the sad part.
I have my accomplishments. I have things in my life that make me extremely happy, but this is my life and my routine. I've been stuck in a time loop when it comes to my weight. I will admit that. But when it comes to like growing and bettering myself, I have not been stuck in a loop. 10 years ago, I could not have ever imagined myself not only being single, but living by myself. That would have never happened.
She's 34, so she will take any victory, right? Any tiny little thing she'll take as a victory. She has her accomplishments. Shut up.
10 years ago, I could not imagine myself making amazing money, using my own debit card, being able to not only take care of myself, but my fur babies, having a roof over my head. If I want it, I buy it. If I need it, I buy it. I never imagined having that type of life. Yes, I suffered with BPD 10 years ago and I still do to this day, but 10 years ago, it was way worse. In that, I never imagined being able to be by.
It was worse. So I think she's saying it was worse 10 years ago or however many years ago because she's excusing all of the bad behavior back then. Because the crazy thing is, she can look back at some of the behavior from back then and she can admit that it was wrong, but then she blames it on her BPD. The thing is, she still does almost all of that now, but she doesn't admit it. She doesn't see it. Because she just has convinced herself that she's changed so much. But she hasn't. The only difference now is that we don't see it as much on screen because she's not around a girlfriend all the time that she can torture. You know? I mean, the relationship with Emily only lasted a couple months. A few months, well, I guess like what, 6 months? And that didn't end well either. So, and I think we can all kind of assume that Emily was like, okay, no, I can't do this because Amber was insufferable. And there was probably more to it than that. But given all that, I think we can assume that she hasn't changed at all.
by myself and enjoying alone time because I was always so, oh my God, I need my partner. And like, I can't be alone ever, not even for 5 minutes. And now I'm alone for days and days at a time and I'm okay. So you might see it as a loop. I don't. You know, your comment section is public, right? Why lie about getting so much support? We can all see what people are
It's DMs, you guys. She's getting lots of DMs.
saying to you, Amber. So I get a lot of private support, which
It's DMs, you guys. She might get a DM or two every once in a while, but she makes it sound like it's just an outpouring of love and support and well wishes and people kissing her ass. And I just don't think it's that many. And I think she's seeing how much love Beck and Destiny are getting in all of their live streams. And just every time they post anything, they're constantly getting comments of, I'm so proud of you, we love you, that kind of thing. And it is just eating her alive. So I think she just has to make that up in her head to make it sound like she is getting as much love as they are. I think it's more than it should be, for sure, but I don't think it's as many as she claims.
I completely understand because when someone supports me publicly, they get actually bashed and attacked, and it's really sad.
And again, she will never take stock of why that is, right? How do you get to the point where even people who support you get bashed? You had to have done something wrong at some point, right?
Haters cannot accept that there are people who actually like me and enjoy my content, and they can't accept a different opinion than theirs. So I get hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of DMs weekly of people who are very, very supportive because they can't do that publicly. So when I say thank you for the support, I genuinely mean it because the people who message me on Instagram are also watching my videos, and these videos are also for them. All right, so this is a
So I don't think there's much crossover between Instagram and YouTube. I think the people on Instagram don't really know who she is. They've just seen her pictures and they see her reels and stuff like that. And they just see her as a bullied fat girl. And then the people on YouTube tend to know more about her. And that's when, you know, they tend to not like her. So is there crossover? For sure. And does she get some DMs? Yeah, for sure. But hundreds and hundreds, shut up.
the last one. Bah ha 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 ha. You are literally deleting comments. I was reading one in the middle of it. Poof, it was gone and it's nowhere to be seen. So I didn't delete any comments on the community tab because I wanted to go into it completely raw. YouTube actually has a section where they automatically do it themselves.
All right, that is actually true. In fact, in one of my very early videos, somebody said, why are you deleting comments? You're acting a lot like Amberlynn Reed. And I have literally never, not once, have I ever deleted a comment. And I said that. I said, I am sorry. In fact, the next video I said, somebody said a comment was deleted. I promise I've never done that. So I don't know what happened. And I said, please comment whatever you said, because they said it was some kind of criticism. I said, whatever it was, say it again, because I don't know what happened. I didn't delete it. And a lot of people said, yeah, YouTube does that sometimes, where if it finds your comment, I don't know, hateful or mean or whatever, it can sort of just decide that it doesn't want the creator to see it. So I don't know how many. Now, there is a section, if you go into like analytics, you can look at your comments, and there's a section that says like not approved. And generally when you go in there, it's a lot of comments with like cursing in it and stuff that's kind of questionable and stuff like that. But a lot of times stuff just disappears. So this, I think she probably deletes some comments, but she's not wrong. YouTube does delete comments sometimes.
If something is a little too hecticana, for the lack of a better word.
If it's too hecticana, that means it's pretty awesome.
It goes into a completely different section, and I have to approve the comment, but I never look at those, so you're never going to see that comment again. All right, so the next section is the Linterview. I am so nervous. All right, let me get to my Instagram. I am beyond nervous. Okay. Take a deep breath.
And remember, she's editing this, so she can pick whatever one she wants. She can listen to 20 of them and pick the one she likes the best and pretend like it was the first one she clicked on.
It's gonna be fine. All right, here we go.
If you didn't have the obstacles that you have in your life, I'm thinking specifically about your weight or maybe some of the trauma-related obstacles, what different twists and turns do you think your life would have taken? Let's imagine you didn't do YouTube, and you didn't have childhood trauma, and you didn't have your weight standing in your way. Where would you see yourself now?
Okay, so if I didn't have childhood trauma...
California with all the hotties and not talking to you uggos. According to Beck, that's what she said back when they were together. And honestly, I can see that because she gives mean girl energy for sure.
And I didn't have these weight issues, where do I see myself now? Honestly, probably like in LA. I'm not gonna lie. I don't really know what I'd be doing for a job or anything like that. Like, I don't like to hype myself up too hard, but I feel like I would be an attractive person if I was thin.
She's actually saying this out loud. In fact, Beck said that back then, Amber said that if I was skinny, I would not be talking to people that look like you. I would be with real hot people in LA. I'd be in LA dating hotties, you know? And I think she thinks she would be famous and rich just because she would be pretty.
I mean, I think I'm pretty now. I mean, sometimes I feel super ugly.
Did you see that? Hold on.
I mean, sometimes I feel super ugly.
That is such a sarcastic eye roll. I mean, sometimes I feel super ugly. Like, that is a please compliment me eye roll.
But my mom, like, is gorgeous. She was super gorgeous when she was younger. And I know without all my extra, I would look very, very different. And I think I would really be successful in LA. I don't really know what I would be doing, but I think...
What is it? That proves that she just thinks she would be like a Kardashian. She would just be famous for being famous. You know, I would just be successful in LA. Doing what? I don't know. Just being in LA. What does she think people in LA do, right? Most of them have a job doing stuff. I think she just thinks she would be one of those TikTok influencers out there dancing and just being famous because she's hot, you know? I think she really thinks that.
I think I would be thriving. I have a feeling I would be thriving for sure. And I know a lot of people are gonna be like, Amberlynn, why did you bring up like what you would look like? It's because sadly, society is shallow. And I feel like people who are more attractive, they get further in life and they're treated better, etc. Okay.
Now that's not wrong. That is absolutely true. But she has no talent. I think her personality is so bad that it doesn't matter whether she was fat or thin or anything. Just like now, nobody would want anything to do with her.
Okay, let's do another.
Okay, so you know how there's the butterfly effect theory?
I'm so confused what she thinks she would be doing in LA to thrive, right? Like most people, if you said, if you took a different path, where do you think you'd be? They would be like, yeah, I probably would have gone to college, or I probably would have, you know, pursued art or whatever. And that's what they would have been successful at. But she would have been successful and thriving in LA. Just, that's it. Just in LA. That just, I don't know why, but that blows my mind. That is such a weird thing to say. And what a weird mentality she has.
Of how like one insignificant moment in your life could change the course of the rest of your life.
Yes.
Do you know, or can you pinpoint like what significant or insignificant moment or event happened in your life that if you could, you would go back and change and maybe speculate how it could have changed the course of the rest of your life?
It's going to be something with her childhood trauma. Look at her. She's gearing up for the emotional release.
So I do have one particular moment in my head, and I don't know what ways that it would have changed my life. Obviously for the better. It would definitely be interesting to see. But like, I have gone through so many things, so many like isolated, separate, traumatic events to where I was going to come out effed up regardless. But the first thing that
Isn't it funny how all of the documented life of Amberlynn Reid has been just cushy, entitled, lazy, never has to do anything at all. But the parts of her life that we can't see online were so hard. It was traumatic. I went through one traumatic thing after another, after another, after another. But as soon as the camera started rolling, it was just easy street. She never had to do anything. People were doing stuff for her all the time. You know, Crystal and her family paid for everything while she sat on her ass. Destiny did everything for her while she sat on her ass. Beck did everything for her while she sat on her ass. She hasn't had to do anything for her entire documented life on YouTube. Like, yeah, I'm sure there was some shitty parts of her childhood. I don't know. I would think that if you went through all kinds of traumatic experiences like she did, you wouldn't come out so entitled.
Think of which trigger warning SA. So I'm just gonna like say it, have something pop up right here. But when I was 7 by a cousin. And I feel like there's a lot of heaviness with that topic. Like, I feel like that probably did do some damage to my brain and just the way that I am, because I know a lot of people who experience SA, especially as a very, very young child, they end up with like a lot of issues. And I think about 600-Pound Life, where I relate so much to some of these people, because in the beginning of every episode, it's the same way. You know, it's the shower scene showing, you know, how much they eat at one time, which is definitely exaggerated, but that's a different subject for a different time. But they always talk about, you know, their past and probably what made them the way they are. And a lot of people go through SA as a kid and end up really, really large.
So, I mean, obviously your first thought is, well, okay, I'm just going to not talk about that because whatever. But she accused one of her dad's friends of doing the exact same thing. And then later said, well, I mean, it wasn't that. It was more like just like telling me I'm cute or whatever. You know, it was harassment. And then whenever somebody said, wait, harassment? I thought you said it was SA. And she goes, well, that's the word that I use for harassment. So this is a serious topic, and I don't want to make light of it. But how can we believe somebody who has admitted that they used the wrong word on a number of occasions? Obviously, including Rain and Petal's eavesdrop with Casey. And that one with her dad's friend was like wild. Somebody said, you told us that you got SA'd by the guy. And she goes, well, I mean, it was, I think you might call it harassment, but I call it SA. That's not the same thing. So did this happen? You know, your first instinct is to not question something that serious. But she has already proven that she can't be trusted with something serious like that. So, I mean, I don't know, man. I always want to try to give people the benefit of the doubt, but she has not earned that. In fact, she's earned the opposite. She's earned skepticism.
So I know that like I've gone through so many things in my life, but I feel like that was one of the first memories that I have as a young girl that was like very, very traumatic for me.
Hi Amber, thank you so much for accepting my request. I just wanted to ask you, if you could talk to yourself 10 years ago, what would you say and what advice would you give? And also, if you could see yourself 10 years in the future, where would you like to be? And how do you see yourself?
We kind of already know, right? We watched her react to the old video, it's so raw, fuck, that video, where Amberlynn is making excuses for everything. And current Amberlynn was like, okay, taking accountability. Yeah, good job.
Okay, taking accountability. A round of applause, round of applause.
And she had nothing but positive things to say about the Amberlynn back then, when everybody else was like, she was lying the whole time. She was not taking accountability for anything. She was blaming everything on everything else and generally just being condescending and fake. And the current Amberlynn that was reacting to it was like, man, I was just so brave, wasn't I? You know? So it doesn't matter what she would say 2 or 10 years ago. She thinks she has never done anything wrong.
So 10 years ago, I was 34. So I, without a doubt, would...
I mean, she clearly just misspoke, because 10 years ago, she was 24.
tell myself, lose weight, girl. Like, you're going to get cancer in a few years, so you need to lose weight. You need to go to the gyno regularly, and you need to know the YouTube.
I feel like somebody else told you that. God, who was it that said you should probably go to the gyno? Beck. And everybody around you told you, hey, you're bleeding. You should see somebody about that. You idiot.
YouTube game. So let me sit down, write down a bunch of notes for you, and I'm going to teach you the YouTube game to where you can play the YouTube game. You can have fun with it, but you can also stop yourself from sharing certain things that you shouldn't share. And girl, you also have BPD. So go to therapy now. Like, there's just so many things that I would tell myself. So if I could see myself in 10 years from now, I will be 44. I hope that obviously, like, I weigh a lot less. I hope that, like, my health.
See, I hope that this happens. I hope that happens. Hopefully, future me will just have it taken care of, you know? They're going to be ready for it.
Has improved. My mental health. I can't even imagine myself in the 40s. Holy, that is weird. I hope that I'm married.
It is weird. It is weird when you get there, I promise. And it's going to get here really fast. And she has to make herself ready to do those things.
I know that sounds crazy because I said I don't ever want to be in a relationship again, but fuck it. A decade from now, I hope that I'm married. I hope that I'm happy. I was about to say, I hope that I still have wasabi and Twinkie, but oh, okay, my heart just broke. Moving on. Okay, so
I mean, I don't know. That's just one of those things that's just annoying, you know? She's trying to be cute. I don't know. I'm just stupid.
this is the last one.
Do you think you'll ever do ASMR again? I'm not gonna lie, your old ASMR videos, especially the like candy bowl ranging one, has been a guilty pleasure of mine for like the past week. Sorry, this had to be weight related. That's just been living rent free in my brain.
Oh my god, I live for that question. You know how many people actually tell me that they like my ASMR videos? Like, it genuinely shocks me. I actually don't think that I will ever make like a separate ASMR video again. I think majority of people actually hate it, but a lot of people do like it, so I appreciate that. All right.
Yeah, most people hate it, and she doesn't do it right is the thing. You know, the people that do ASMR, and that's like what they do, they understand because it actually works for them, right? They get the sensation of ASMR. Even though she's been diagnosed with ASMR, she doesn't get it. You know, she pretends that it works for her, but she doesn't understand it. So she'll never be able to do it right.
Now it is time for tea or tail. So rumor number one is you cannot be diagnosed with BPD by a psychologist, let alone one that doesn't specialize in BPD.
Nobody has ever said that. What are you talking about? I have never heard anybody say you can't be diagnosed with BPD by a psychologist. What they've said is you can't be diagnosed by a therapist. This is some straw man right here.
That is a tail. That is a big, big, big tail. So you can be diagnosed with BPD by a psychiatrist, psychologists, and by social workers. And they do not have to specialize in BPD in the same way, like if you're diagnosed with depression or you're diagnosed with bipolar disorder, like they don't have to be like a specialized like psychologist just for those.
Again, none of what she says right here matters because this is not what people are saying. And just so you know, who can diagnose BPD? It does say psychiatrist, psychologist, or clinical social worker. And again, nobody is saying a psychologist can't diagnose BPD. So everything she's saying right now is a straw man anyway, but she's also wrong. She said social worker, but it's a clinical social worker. And the clinical social worker has to have a master's degree in social work, in emotional and behavioral therapy and things like that. So it's not just a social worker, but a clinical social worker can diagnose BPD. So again, she is trying to strawman by saying everybody's saying that a psychologist can't diagnose BPD, but that's not what everybody's saying. Everybody's saying you're not seeing a psychologist, that you're just seeing a therapist, and a therapist can't diagnose BPD. So whatever she's about to say is stupid.
Those things. All right, rumor number two. Amberlynn lied about when she posted her ER pictures to Snapchat. That is also a tale. That is not true. So in my reaction to Salty Crab, where I was talking about like, so many people didn't believe I had cancer, so many people didn't believe that I was rushed to the ER and that I was gushing blood and blah, blah, blah. I mentioned the times where I posted my blood pictures on Snapchat. And I also mentioned where I literally showed medical confirmation, like my medical paperwork in a YouTube video. And I jumbled all that nonsense together in the reaction. And I saw a couple people where they were just like, oh my God, Amberlynn's lying. Like she didn't even post like those pictures until like May, but then it was like actually June where like she showed the medical stuff. And yes, that is true. So in the Salty Crab reaction, I said during that time, and I also said in the impulsive state of mind that
So I don't know, and I really don't care, but she always uses semantics, right? She always tries to find the little loopholes that she can make up or use to kind of shift things around a little bit. Honestly, this is a nothing burger also. Nobody cares. No one cares.
that was in. So I'm talking about two different incidences, which is the Snapchat photos, the medical paper.
And like I said, she is picking stuff that nobody cares about, right? Maybe I'm wrong. Do you care about the bloody pictures from Snapchat. I don't care about that. Maybe I'm in the minority, but I just, I don't know.
Paperwork YouTube that happened within different months, but it was the same head frame. So what made me post the Snapchat photos was people were like, Amberlynn, that's not true. You were not rushed to the ER gushing blood. And I was like, oh, yes, I was. Here's proof. And then me posting medical paperwork was because people were like, Amberlynn, you were never diagnosed. That's not true. And then I was like, well, here's proof. So both of those instances was just me not being able to regulate my emotions, me not being able to like ignore the shit. So instead it made my like impulse instinct, like it was gone. I had zero impulse skills.
Wait, so she's admitting that what they're saying is correct. She's just saying, yeah, but my headspace in both of those different months was the same. So it's like posting at the same time. That's just the way it works. You butt face.
Like I was just like, I'm gonna show this. I'm gonna show this. I couldn't regulate myself. But thankfully since then, I have gotten better with that. Am I perfect? No. I think that's a reason why I have stopped like.
Have you? Your privated video from last night says otherwise.
Demeaning myself in certain areas. People are like, let me see the BPD diagnosis. People are like, let me see proof that you have a kidney that's 6 millimeters big. And I'm like, no, like I have boundaries and I respect my boundaries. In the past, no.
Isn't that interesting? She has boundaries when she needs to prove something, but she has no boundaries almost anywhere else.
Because I was bad at regulating, still am, but better. And that's just like another way of like showing that I have improved as a person, because in the past, like,
you know, it shows that I've improved as a person that when somebody wants proof of my diagnosis for BPD, I say, no way, Jose. I mean, fine. We just don't believe you. And again, I'm not convinced she doesn't have BPD. I think that there's some of that, but I think if she were to go to an actual psychologist, an actual person who diagnoses personality disorders, she would be diagnosed with NPD and probably some BPD as well. You know, that's why I don't think she has or will ever be actually officially diagnosed with BPD, because if she were to actually see a professional, she would be diagnosed with something she doesn't want to be diagnosed with. So that's why she doesn't go.
Crying hysterically while showing my medical records is crazy work. And like posting on Snapchat such gruesome photos is also crazy work. And that is something I would never do now. Rumor number 3, which is the last rumor, Amberlynn uses a filter when live streaming from her laptop. That is also a tale. I'm literally a boomer when it comes to anything like that. So the reason why it looks so different on my laptop versus on my phone is because the iPhone, I have the newest one, is literally crisp clear, as you guys can see. But my laptop literally sucks, as you guys can also see, because the internet's always shutting down and I'm always having to
People are just pretty much assuming that she would rather have the bad internet and be able to use filters on her laptop than have the good internet on her phone and not be able to use filters. So, I mean, there may be some truth to that, because why would you use the crappy internet on your laptop when you could just use your phone? But of course, the rumors that she decided to address this time were stupid, and she still lied. So
always having to restart. You can literally tell that the webcam is super blurry. So it has nothing to do with the filter. I wouldn't even know how to put that on there. Literally, when I go live, I click on YouTube, I click go live, and that is literally the end of it. All right, now we're about to do bad choices. So by the time that this whole series is done, maybe I will have answered every single one of these questions. I'm just going to...
You really think, come on. She has been doing this for so long. How does she think she's going to do more than like 2 or 3 of these?
Randomly choose 5 and let's get into it. Have you ever told a friend they were being cheated on? I'm having to think. I don't think I've ever had to do that. No. But my memory does suck, because last night in my live stream, I couldn't even remember the fucking high school that I graduated from. It was crazy. All right, next one.
Yeah, and it was stupid. She just kept going, why can I not remember that? It was stupid. It wasn't worth talking about.
In the past 30 days, have you sent or received a sext message? So in the last 30 days, no. Nope.
When Emily was having her little falling out like a week ago, Amber was talking about how they had been talking a few days before that, kind of hinting that they were like getting saucy. Maybe she didn't mean saucy. I don't know. Also, gross.
Number 3. So this is like an all play question. So obviously, it's just me. So I'm gonna ask it as if it's just me. Could you go a month without masturbating? The answer is probably no. I mean, if someone was like, don't masturbate for a month, like, I bet you, like, okay, I won't. But like, why would I?
I don't like this. And she's got that look on her face like she knows she's grossing people out.
Number 4. Have you ever apologized after sex? I'm sure I have. I don't know what for, but probably something. All right. Number 5. Have you ever had a sexual partner who turned out to be gay? Well, I am gay, so that makes my partner gay. All right. So that is the end of the first episode of this series. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. Obviously, there are so many more.
Are all those cards going to be sexual? Ugh, I don't want to do that.
Voice memos, so many more things we could talk about, but I don't want to make this video super long. There will be another community tab for you guys on Monday. If I missed your question, just repeat it. And as the time goes on, we'll see. Maybe some of this will be taken out. Maybe no one likes the interview, or maybe no one likes the tea or tail. I'm sure you guys do though. Maybe eventually I'll add something new or take something out. It just all depends. See what we all like and how we enjoy it. But I hope that you guys did enjoy this video, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.
She just lives in her own little world, doesn't she? You know? She has a reality that just does not exist. I think my least favorite part of this, well, there were a lot of real stupid parts, but I think my least favorite part was the obvious straw man about that a psychologist can't diagnose BPD. Why would she ever think anybody would ever say that? That's so stupid. So I think she's becoming emboldened to be more smug and more condescending. And I think it's part of the narcissistic collapse that she's having. I think she's still kind of in the middle of it because she can't control their narrative from Beck and Destiny. Like, notice she couldn't help herself when she went live last night to tell Beck F off because you didn't believe that I had cancer or whatever. And it's partly because she flew off the handle, but I think it's partly because they were getting so much love and attention. And she just doesn't get that. That's why she's saying I get hundreds and hundreds of DMs, you guys, because she sees Beck and Destiny getting so much love and so many comments. She needs to pretend like she is too. So anyway, I appreciate you guys so much. I'll see you in the next one. Take care.